We all saw the images, an American president and a North Korean dictator shaking hands. But what if the handshake wasn't about peace at all? What if that single gesture was the sound of a 70-year-old security guarantee shattering into a million pieces? Why would America's closest ally in Asia see this act of diplomacy not as a solution, but as a profound betrayal? This isn't a story about Donald Trump or Kim Jong-un. It's the story of the secret fear that handshake unlocked in Tokyo, and why it's pushing Japan towards becoming a military power once again. To understand the shock, you have to understand the world that came before it. After the devastation of World War II, Japan made a solemn vow. It adopted a peace constitution with its famous Article 9, renouncing war forever. It willingly gave up the right to a sovereign military, placing its very existence into the hands of its former enemy, the United States. This was the great post-war bargain. America would provide an unbreakable nuclear umbrella and a permanent military shield. Japan would provide the bases, the funding, and become a pacifist economic powerhouse. This arrangement wasn't just a treaty. It was a state of mind. For generations, North Korea was the perfect villain in this drama. Its aggression, its isolation, its relentless threats, all of it served to guarantee America's presence. The North Korean menace was the glue that held the alliance together, a permanent, predictable crisis that made the American shield essential. Then came the handshake in Singapore, and everything changed. The secret truth isn't found in the classified transcripts of what Trump and Kim discussed. It's found in the one thing that was never said aloud in Tokyo, but was suddenly felt in the heart. The enemy of my friend is my enemy, until he isn't. This leads to the second, more terrifying pillar, the credibility gap. President Trump's America First philosophy wasn't just a slogan. He openly called alliances transactional burdens. He questioned the cost of keeping troops in Japan and South Korea. To an American audience, this might have sounded like tough business talk. To a Japanese leadership that had outsourced its survival, it sounded like an existential threat. The nightmare scenario in Tokyo was never that Trump would fail to get a deal. It was that he would succeed. A great deal for America could mean freezing North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missiles, the ones that could reach the United States. But such a deal could conveniently ignore the hundreds of short and medium-range missiles pointed directly at every major city in Japan. The handshake was proof that this nightmare, a separate piece that protected the patron while leaving the client exposed, was now horrifyingly possible. It showed that Japan's security could be traded away for a presidential photo op. And finally, the third pillar, the ghost of nuclear faith. The American nuclear umbrella isn't a physical object. It is a belief. It is the unwavering conviction in Tokyo that Washington would truly risk nuclear war with North Korea or China to defend Japan. It is the belief that an attack on Osaka is an attack on Los Angeles. When a U.S. president praises the special bond he has with the very man threatening nuclear fire, that belief begins to crumble. Deterrence is a psychological game, and in that moment, America's psychological commitment was thrown into profound doubt. If your protector befriends your would-be executioner, can you truly believe he will step in when the axe is about to fall? Some will tell you this is a simple story. that Japan is merely reacting to North Korea's improving missile technology. But that misses the entire point. The missiles had been a threat for years. The tests were not new. What was new and terrifying was the silence from the protector who was supposed to be the ultimate shield. So the inevitable truth is this. The diplomacy between Washington and Pyongyang forced Tokyo to confront the one fear it had buried for generations, the fear of being left utterly alone. The push to revise Article 9, the historic increases in defense spending, the development of counter-strike capabilities, these are not the confident actions of a nation seeking power. They are the desperate calculations of an ally that suddenly fears its guarantee has expired. This is the real consequence of that handshake. Not peace, but the birth of a new, uncertain, and far more dangerous era in the Pacific. An era where Japan feels it must forge its own sword because it can no longer trust the shield. When the foundation of your world is revealed to be sand, what else can you do but start building on rock? If you seek to understand the powerful, hidden currents of history shaping our future, subscribe for more.